Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast and a game between Liquid Jinro versus IM's Nestea here on Typhoon Peaks. This game was taken from Battle.net, so it is going to be the standard Battle.net version of the map, but then again, I don't think Typhoon Peaks has made it into any serious tournament play anyways. Jinro has spawned as the red Terran player on the bottom right hand side of the map. Meanwhile, Nestea has spawned on the bottom left-hand side of the map as the blue Zerg. Zerg versus Terran once more, and we'll see what Jinro and Nestea are up to in this particular matchup. Now, quick things to note about Typhoon Peaks. Typhoon Peaks does have a very easy natural expansion for Zerg to try to take control of. The third base is a little bit more difficult as there are destructible rocks and it is on a low ground, so Terran players can utilize this high ground very, very easily, perhaps getting some siege tanks either here to take down the backdoor rocks or siege tanks here to take down this area here. Now, a lot of the battles generally happen around outside of your opponent's base, inside in this location, and this location as well. One important thing to note, there are sets of destructible rocks as well that make it very easy to establish or get easy access to your opponent depending on how you did spawn. This particular route means that they will be able to expand to the north continually away from their opponent. Nestea opening up first with a 15 hatch. Meanwhile, Jinro opening up with a not the standard build. He went for, was this a 13 refinery? No, he did go for a standard 13 refinery. It was not refinery before barracks as I originally thought, and it looks as though a marine will be trained up in just a moment. Will he get a supply depot down in time to perhaps block that one SCV? That is the question there. SCV now just sitting off right there. If he had decided to train up that marine just a little bit later, that drone would not have been able to sneak by, but it looks like it will be able to get in, and the drone now being forced to pull away and not get any serious scouting information at all. This one drone now looking to perhaps return home. An overlord does need to get reset up and repositioned just in case a bunker is placed down. A marine now trying to chase down this drone. The drone, however, does look like it will be able to escape pretty easily as the marine will not be able to find it. There was an SCV activating the Zelnaga tower, but the SCV now making and moving along his merry way. A bunker could be placed down right here, reducing the amount of surface area and allowing the SCV to build it. So yes, that's become a very, very common tactic. Will the creep actually come down in time? And no, it does not come down in time, as Jinro was able to actually spot this and realize that he needed to get this down as quickly as possible. A marine now playing a game of chicken against all of these drones. The drones, however, chasing after the marines, and there is going to be one drone taken down. It looks like another drone may get taken down as well. No, it doesn't, as this one bunker about 2/3 of the way completed. Zergling's now trying to engage as well. This one SCV has a little bit more work to do, but it looks like that bunker will simply just get canceled. But the damage was already dealt in forcing his opponent to get a little bit more Zerglings, but really Nestea not over-responding with those Zerglings. So very, very nice play. You can see Nestea only harvesting with 2 gas right now. He is already getting that metabolic boost. SCV and a marine. Marines activating each of these Zelnaga towers as the Zerglings going to take the southern path or the low ground path in order to do a bit of scouting. Jinro already now up with a command center or currently building it. He is getting that tech lab as well. Based upon what I've seen in the previous matchups, he'll most likely train 2 Hellions, do a little bit of a scout, and try to shut down those Zerglings while doing a swap onto the tech lab and getting that blue flame research. So the Hellions are already out and about. It looks like the Zerglings are going to get toasted there. So one easy Zergling now taken down. Marine and now moving out with these Hellions. The Hellions going to look for that forward position, but Nestea does have a queen, and Zerglings are being trained, and we are also going into roaches. An interesting strategy though, Jinro opting to not go for blue flame as I originally thought, instead now going for siege tech. So it is going to be siege tech instead, and SCV taking a lot of claw damage, now turning around once again. Will the Hellions be able to get off a nice torch onto those Zerglings? And it looks like yes, many of those Zerglings will get taken down, and the SCV was on auto repair. The Zerglings now attempting to finish off the Hellions. There is now still 2 Hellions and a marine. This one lower hit point Hellion needs to back off. If this queen does get taken down, that is going to be a lot of damage as the Hellions now run straight inside the base. Going to run along the edge. Roaches are being trained. Will any drones get torched is the key question, and it looks like Jinro has lost much of his firepower already, trying to get more damage in, but as soon as those roaches are hatched, Jinro's Hellion harassment should be come to a minimal, as the Hellion now down to 6 hit points. One more slash will do it. Where is the Roach? I don't quite see it. Jinro playing a really just excellent driving with this one particular Hellion, and the Hellion looks like it will be able to escape ever so barely. No, it does not. Backed away after seeing those Zerglings, and then a claw comes in from the Queen. We are now teching the tier 2 as soon as that Hellion was destroyed. Meanwhile, Jinro getting on another tech lab. There are 2 siege tanks already in siege mode, so I believe Jinro is expecting the counterattack to already begin. Marines now coming in as well. The Marines, the Zerglings know that they cannot really fight back at all. A siege tank on the high ground and on the low ground, more offering a lot of protection here, as the Marines also close by, making sure to offer some cover fire for that one siege tank. Now, Nestea has a number of options. It is about the 8-minute mark, and he's going to go for another hatchery, but it's going to simply be a macro hatch. It is not going to be another hatchery down over here, so that shows me that a lot of Zerglings and Roaches will continue to be trained, as the lower tier units generally need more larvae in order to dump out the necessary minerals. Nestea now doing a good job spreading out creep as well. Roaches should be getting that glial reconstitution in just a moment, as you now see an expansion off to the north. So Nestea wanting to expand off into this location instead of expanding closer to his opponent. As long as there are creep tumors connecting these 2 bases, the walking distance should be rather short. There are a decent number of Roaches here, as both sides are now transitioning, and now Jinro continuing with the constant pressure, moving out with 3 siege tanks and a decent number of Marines. It looks as though it was spotted out though, so we'll see what's going to be happening here, as Jinro being very careful to just try to walk around the rest of the map and not reveal where exactly his forces will be attacking. This is a much narrower choke point though, so it is going to be difficult to try to break through on this position. What is going to be happening though, they're just going to simply move around. It looks like the Marines are now simply pushing into the center portion. 1 siege tank, 2 siege tanks. The siege tanks need to go perhaps further deep, otherwise it's going to be a problem, as the Roaches are now trying to push in, and the Roaches, just going to get shelled away. Marines are now coming in as well. All those Roaches are going to get destroyed, and I believe Nestea completely miscalculated that battle there, losing all of his Roaches already. More creep tumors now getting cleared up. A Queen now going to get destroyed. It doesn't. Reinforcements are coming in from the far side as well. SCVs coming in as well, as Jinro now going to try to press his luck and deal a lot of damage. A lot of Roaches are now pushing in, and will those Roaches, yes, the Roaches are taking a lot of damage, and it looks like many of those Roaches will be getting destroyed, as those Roaches are armored units. 3 siege tanks blast will kill it. SCVs, more Marines now trying to push back in as well. SCVs are close by. Will the repairs happen in time is the key question. 1 siege tank down. Another siege tank may get taken down. It does get taken down. Reinforcements are arriving to the party just a little bit late. The SCVs need to auto repair, and there are only 3 Marines. So the 28 Zerglings, which are going to be hatching up in just a moment, should be enough. Jinro needs to back out of here, but with so many Zerglings now coming in, this is going to turn into a very bloody battle. Will this hatchery get taken down? Zerglings now trying to swarm around, but the Zerglings will clean up this. But Jinro has already dealt a lot of damage already. You can see 46 to 48 drones though. Nestea already looking to perhaps establish another hatchery off over here. They have been running off of 2 bases each, and Jinro about to establish his 3rd base. With another command center here, perhaps lifting it off, or perhaps trying to take this low ground expansion here. Siege tank on the low ground. If the Zerglings do try to sneak by, they will get destroyed. Zerglings, Mutalisk, and perhaps some Roaches will be able to take down these rocks here as well, as another expansion most likely will be coming in just a moment. Army combinations definitely stronger by Nestea. After that last engagement, it looked like Jinro overextended his stay and really took a lot more damage than he needed to. You can see an SCV is on patrol back over here, will end up spotting a flock of Mutalists trying to fly by, taking down that one patrolling SCVs. The Marines need to get back into here and in a hurry, but there are no missile turrets, nothing at all. SCVs are being transferred over, missile turrets are being placed down, but they will not be up for a fair amount of time. SCVs, both barracks have been destroyed, or SCVs trying to build those missile turrets have been destroyed, and a Mutalisk does spot this over here. The Marines may come by close enough and now shoot down even more of those Mutalisks once again. It looks like there are a swarm of Zerglings now trying to push through. There is a siege tank up on this high ground location here. One poor Marine left alone at a Xel'Naga tower, instantly getting destroyed. One missile turret, perhaps another missile turret to round it off. Two missile turrets better than one, able to fight back a large number of Mutalisks. Drones now being transferred over here to this natural expansion. It looks like the drones will arrive to the party just a little bit too early. Gonna have one round of long distance mining, and then we'll see what will be happening here in just a moment. Back over here, the flock of Mutalisks now gonna clump together. There is one missile turret, two missile turrets, and the Mutalisks very smartly deciding to back off, not wanting to engage, as a third missile turret now being established. So 3 missile turrets, essentially 12 Marines with superior range, able to shut down all of those Mutalisks before the Mutalisks are able to even get close enough. Nestea now getting up another queen over here, should be able to macro up very easily. Jinro currently almost supply blocked at 120 over 121, able to train up a Marine, and that is it. Getting in some additional bunkers and depots, making sure that those Zerglings are not going to be able to swarm in at all. Mutalisk looking to do a flyby and deal some more damage. They are upgraded 1-0. Can they get into the 2-0 upgrades? A sensor tower now being added, and all of those Mutalisks are spotted. There is a missile turret off over here. The missile turret will be able to get off 2 rounds of attack, but an SCV or 2 SCVs were destroyed in the process. A third trifecta of missile turrets now being added in, so we'll be able to triangulate onto all of those missile turrets, or onto all of those Mutalisks, and shoot them out of the sky. 76 versus 62. Nestea with a slight economy advantage and army advantage at this point in the game, but you can see that Jinro will be able to start calling in mules and call them in plenty. The Marines are only upgraded 1-0 at this time, 2-0 upgrades, and 2 Thors now being added. Double missile turrets back over here. The missile turret gonna quickly get shot down and unable to get repaired. A second missile turret is gonna get shot down as well, as the engineering bay is in trouble. The engineering bay, however, protected by Marines. Marines desperately want to keep that engineering bay up as long as possible, as they want that level 2 weapons upgrade. Siege tanks back over here, but completely unprotected. Only protected by 10 or so Marines. One siege tank now destroyed. More Marines now coming back over once again. A Thor may be added, and there's the Thor. The Thor, however, didn't spot the Mutalisk in time and unable to take it down. Still, no new additional missile turrets being established here. You can see a lot of Zerglings cleaning up a drop that I completely missed. Let me see if I can rewind that for you. Yes, so a drop now coming in. The Marines gonna stim their way through, dropping off over here, and now the Zerglings are gonna try to engage. The Zerglings gonna perhaps finish off the rest of the Marines. The Marines cannot jump inside the medevac, as the Mutalisk once again try to put pressure over here by the Xel'Naga watchtower. It looks like another tank was destroyed in the process, but a lot of Mutalisks got shot and took a lot of damage as well. It is going to be 3 bases to 4 in just a moment, as Nestea now establishes that starting location on the top left-hand side of the map. There are currently, a couple missile turrets here, and for some reason, not quite sure why Jinro is only mining with 3 harvesters here. He needs to lower these supply depots in order to get as much gas as possible, but those Mutalisks are now simply coming in and now going to continue to get even more damage. The Thors are now trying to get into proper position. Once again, the Thors are staying a little bit further back as the siege tanks are hopscotching their way forward. Does he know about that top left-hand expansion? It does not look like it. So Nestea is still able to funnel in a lot of units in from the north. Now Jinro once again attacking against a much larger army. You can take a look at the army sizes and their expenses. Also 68 drones versus 62, 3 Thors, and the siege tanks are now trying to battle their way in. The Mutalisks are going to be doing a straight flyby in, and now going to be sitting on top of this, and now Jinro losing his entire attack force here. And what a great exchange by Nestea. Nestea absolutely destroying this now, and was able to get in a lot of damage. And now Jinro very far behind, 110 compared to 168. This is not looking good at all. Jinro will have to battle his way back, quickly calling in 5 mules. and now perhaps leaving a Thor here, but a Thor able to get off one round of javelin missiles. One more attack would be able to shut down many of those, but no, the Mutalisks are backing off once again. So one Thor sitting off over here. Let's see what's going to happen to him in just a moment, as some siege tanks are in a very defensive posture as well. How is Jinro going to battle back into this game? He is currently behind in economy, sitting at 89 drones versus 62 SCVs, but there are 8 mules, so those 8 mules are definitely mining away, but it will end up mining this out even more quickly. As you can see, 8 mules right here, and just trying to mine out these mineral patches as quickly as possible. And now in comes the main Zerg swarm once again. Level 3 weapons upgrade with level 2 weapons armor will definitely help. The Mutalisks are only sitting on 2-0 upgrades. Pathogen glands will be completed, and also adding more Mutalisks to the air. Army compositions 191 food compared to 153. We are now finally supply capped by Nestea, and he's just going to continue to bank all of those minerals, but it looks like a drop, or no, Marines are simply just going to be trying to run in, shutting down some overlords. One overlord is going to get destroyed. You can see another hatchery over here as well. This map is now starting to be so large that another drop will be happening up on that high ground. One spine crawler about 8 seconds away from being completed. There are some Zerglings already ready, and now the Zerglings going to try to swarm around and shut down or destroy this drop. But no, the drop not going to get destroyed, as the Marines able to shoot up onto the high ground to destroy all of these Zerglings here. Now, we are going to get some Banelings rolling on in. The Banelings deal 43 damage. It looks like the level 3 claw attack upgrade's not being started. Zerg Carapace upgrade now being added, as no Mutalisks are close enough to hunt it down. I spoke too soon, as it looks as though the Mutalisks may be able to hunt down and destroy this medevac. Zergling's now going to be pushing in addition to these Mutalisks, and it looks like all of these Marines and this drop will get easily taken care of in just a moment. There it goes. So Nestea is still sitting at 192 over 194. He needs to pick and choose his engagements very, very carefully. Jinro is on such a defensive posture, as Jinro now establishing and continuing to expand into his opponent's base. You can see him attempting to take this expansion down over here. Another scanner sweep destroying more creep tumors, as well as we are going to see Banelings in position here. We are going to have a large number of Marines pushing in. The missile turret already been completed, as we are now going into Hive Tech. I would have liked to see Hive Tech just a little bit earlier, as those Broodlords would be able to just simply launch those Broodlings and then getting a lot of additional splash damage as well. Currently sitting on 8 siege tanks, and Marines are upgraded 3-2. We are now starting to get the level 1 weapons upgrade onto those Thors. Thors dealing so much damage to air, especially if they are grouped together, as we are now seeing Banelings and Mutalisks continuing to fly by. The Marines now trying to push in, and it looks like one Mutalisk down to 1 hit point. Armor for the win there, as this one poor Marine, siege tanks able to blast away and shutting down many of those Banelings before those Banelings could even find their target. So a horrible loss there, as Jinro sitting on a very large number of siege tanks, but Nestea having a much superior gas army, as we are going into Corruptors now. Corruptors for those Broodlords. Do we have any indication of Vikings is the key questions. Medevacs now on the move once again. As you see the number of bases, Nestea is currently running off of 5 bases compared to the 4, or what will be the 4 bases of Jinro. Take a look at the overall spending. You can see that the spending is much, much larger for Nestea, but he hasn't been able to really engage that properly so far, as the siege tanks quickly siege up all of those siege tanks, scaring away all of those units, as another planetary fortress coming in, and now in comes what will be a very large drop. Zerglings and Mutalisks quickly spot this drop, as now the planetary fortress trying to be built. Will the Mutalisks? Yes, Mutalisks are going to finish off this over here. Now finish off a lot of this, and now the command center has been lifted off. The missile turret has been completed. The Banelings trying to roll in. It looks like they will be able to deal a lot of damage to the rest of this here, and this medevac may get destroyed. Zerglings now they are deep behind enemy lines. How much damage will they be able to do? The Zerglings now going to be able to run in straight on inside this base here. Banelings now going to get split up over here. The one supply depot has been destroyed, as the Zerglings are going to start hitting the main production buildings here. One missile turret down, another missile turret now going to get taken down as well. There's not that many SCVs at all, as the Banelings Banelings are now looking to perhaps defend as the Mutalisk are going after all of these reactors, taking down some of these very low hit point buildings already, and now the Mutalisk being able to fly away, able to retreat. Overlords are spotting this out. It looks like another command center, not yet upgrading to a planetary fortress. And you can see Nestea sitting on a bank of minerals, 4,000 minerals, but he is so supply capped that he is unable to really harvest or really utilize his harvest at all. Spine crawlers are in a plenty. Infestors are being added. Broodlords are also being added as well. So it looks as though Nestea is waiting for the proper time to counterattack, and this counterattack will be brutal, as so many Broodlords coming in. Did not mean to be punny there at all. Vikings are now being trained as well. It looks like there is a decent amount of Corruptors. The Corruptors are a fair counter to those Vikings, especially when you throw in Infestors in the mix. The siege tanks now trying to figure out where exactly they can move out with their superior ranged armies. So far, so many Marines added as well. And what is going to be happening here? Broodlords moving dangerously slow across the map, only a movement speed of 1.4. But those Broodlords, this murder of Broodlords, will be able to shut down so many things as well. We are now seeing additional Infestors being added, no additional Vikings, as we are now seeing that 200, and I really think the problem with Nestea is that he's not exchanging his armies very well at all. Marines are being added over here. Banelings are in position. The Banelings are simply just going to be waiting, as well as the Marines are simply going to stem in. The Banelings now coming in with Corruptors. All of these Marines going to get destroyed. Down they go. So Nestea able to destroy this, but Nestea is sitting on 8,000 resources as another drop now coming into the base. It looks like this one spine crawler, Baneling Queen, gonna get sniped down rather quickly. Two spine crawlers trying to finish this up, and this is very bad news, as Jinro perhaps will be able to snipe down the Greater Spire. The Greater Spire dangerously low on hit points, and down it goes. So the Greater Spire has been destroyed, and now also the infestation pit hitting those two very key critical buildings, and now also taking down the spawning pool as well. The main attack force is over here. This is looking very bad. Nestea has constantly been out of position with his very slow units. There are a couple of spine crawlers here, and he now needs to get an infestation pit spire, and just train up as many units as possible. It looks like the Thors are now going to be coming in, but the Broodlords going to completely catch all of these siege tanks out of position. Fungal growth also hitting down as well. Vikings, there are two Vikings off to the side, but Jinro going to be losing a lot of these Broodlords, or at least one of those Broodlords, and a massive fungal growth hitting down this group here. Marines able to regroup and recenter themselves, but it looks like the Broodlords, another hatchery needs to be reestablished. This poor spine crawler will start to take a lot of damage, as well as the Broodlords. Oh, the Marines able to shut down an Overlord there, and now it looks like the Mutalisk are trying to find that medevac, but the medevac is now running away once more. A new hatchery, the third base finally being established by Nestea, or the third base location finally being established. Ultralisk Cavern and the Spire. The Spire needs to be upgraded to a Greater Spire if he wants more Broodlords. He definitely has the minerals for it. Ultralisk now being trained up. Catonis plating not being used at all, as the command center now down over here. You can see the Marines attempting to run away from those Broodlings. The Broodlings were able to pick apart and get some damage, some free damage there. There are a lot of Broodlords so far. These Broodlords are upgraded to 1, dealing 24 damage per attack, and then you add in that Broodling damage, and that Broodling damage is absolutely brutal. 7 damage per attack, but now the Vikings are coming in. The Vikings dealing with Corruptors. Marines are now trying to engage. The Vikings are trying to focus down, but this is not looking good. The Broodlords, and there's the game. So Liquid Jinro losing the game here on Typhoon Peaks. A very close battle, but I am Nestea sitting on such a large bank of minerals, able to replenish his army so quickly. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed this game between Liquid Jinro and I am Nestea here on Typhoon Peaks.